to be with my friend. I'm taking a trip just to be with my Jesus. I'm taking a trip just to
What we
be
have
with
there is a curatorial record. Throughout the years, Professor Girardeau and I, when visit Howard at the Paradise Garden, we took a lot of photographs. I took incredible amount of photographs at the Paradise Garden and here at Lehigh when he came in 1986 when he was in residency. That was a very special moment. I took a lot of images of that events, and also when he came back in later years in '98 for the blessing, of the Solner Art Center. Then they are snapshots. I don't claim them to be a fine art photography. They are just a good record. Then, thanks to technology and print them in a way, then enhance and make them even as interesting, as good as when I took them. Many years ago. That is what that show is all about. And we went through in a kind of chronological fashion. We try to maintain the flavor of the garden, the changes. The garden changed constantly. Well, Howard reinvented himself constantly, and that is exactly what the garden was going through. And we have different periods in that garden. Also, Norma was there building a monument for Lehigh. Doing like many other artists, they Howard loved to have different people contributing. Then we saw, and he saw firsthand a lot of changes down there. And that is what that show is all about, the Paradise Garden, the idea of the paradise, and some of the records of the documents when he was here. Howard left me a great love to humanity. He was a humanitarian. He was a very special individual. His spirit is pretty much alive. That desire and that curiosity, that mega curiosity and that way of expressing yourself and encouraging everybody to express themselves and that kind of sense of community. That is his legacy. And we at Lehigh not only have his spirit in essence, but we have one of the largest, I believe, the largest collection of Howard's work, the High Museum in Atlanta, where they have a lot of the Paradise Garden. But they told me that we have perhaps the largest in number. We also have a lot of records and photographs, as I mentioned, thousands of photographs, hundreds of hours of tapes with Howard singing, Howard talking, Howard preaching. We have a lot of that. Howard perhaps didn't have what you consider a great sense of humor. He was a preacher, he was an evangelist, he was really, but he got that his work came across very whimsical, very, human, and he himself was very human.